So we must do two things, two great things together, to encompass that enormous new view that lies before us, but to encompass it within the framework of science, to see it within the whole categorical framework of science, and to see that these two are not separate, but that they are wedded. The bigness of the idea, the newness of the idea, the greatness of it is one with the structure of science, the structure of being itself.
How could we have the initial desire in mind to reach the fulfillment of any way, of any process, any ordered development, if we did not already have within us that divine order? So you already have within you mind. So we've been looking at the qualities of mind. You're already one with spirit. You have all of those spiritual qualities that can culture this idea, that can nurture this idea, that can give birth to it. Just think of it. You don't need somebody outside of yourself. You don't need a teacher. You don't need anything except your oneness with the divine order of the Word. Your oneness with the understanding of what these days of creation are and how they operate. You see. So as you go that way and you reach the third day and you begin to touch the solidity of it, the dry landedness of it, the crystallizing of something within you, the crystallizing of a new idea, of a spiritual idea, the spiritual idea of yourself, the spiritual idea of your life, of your goals, of your careers, of your mission, you see. To have a career is to have a mission. It's soul, it's that third day, is all to do with who you are, with your divine selfhood, which is everything to do with what you do in this world. In this world. They are one. They are one. And it's only a matter of getting the priorities right, of seeing that the really big issue, the deep structure issue, is the nature, is the divine nature, the nature that those days of creation bring out. And that when I reach the third day, I suddenly begin to find out who I am. And it's not who I thought I was, or who I thought I was supposed to be, or who I tried to be for everyone else's sake, including my own, or excluding my own. Either way, that when you touch that third day, you find out who you are spiritually. And when you find out who you are spiritually, you find out at every other plane who you are, what you should be doing, what your place value is, how to fulfill that place value, how to be what you were meant to be, what you were intended to be. So to become a Christian Scientist and to study the science of being doesn't mean I give up everything in my everyday life, that I stop having an interest in serving mankind, in doing something that has meaning and purpose and beauty in it. But it makes that possible. The science of being makes that possible. So as I touch soul, I find my true selfhood, and that has all to do with my spiritual career. And my spiritual career has all to do with my career on this earth. And with what kind of jobs I take, and how long I stay in those jobs, and what those jobs mean. That's so important, I think, it's important to all of us, but I think especially to a young person who is trying to find out who they are. They feel something about themselves, and they want to know how to go. Where do I go? What do I do to develop that, to pursue that? so often in the creative process, and that's what we're talking about, the creative process, we don't know what's being created, you know? That's true very often with an artist, that he will begin the creative process. He doesn't really know what the outcome is. Take, for instance, myself. Take, for instance, this class. You see, that I had no idea, still probably don't have any idea of what this class is, what it will be. But I have undertaken it according to the creative order, the creative process, the Word of God, the days of creation, the fourfold operative order of creativity. And the fourfold operative order is an order of creativity. And when you give yourself to that, when you set yourself consciously within that context, you don't have to know what the outcome will be. You only have to remain true to that order. And then that order, that twofold order of the 7 and the 4, begins to create. And it creates something really that you never would have dreamt of. Something you never thought out. The very best things that you thought out fall by the wayside in that adventure. If that's true for a class, it's true for our lives. It's true for every young life. It's true for every life, no matter where we are in our life, because we're always working out big questions. All along that way, we never reach a time frame and age, a decade, where we're suddenly relieved of problems. We get new forms of problems. What we need to see is that every problem is the problem of being restructured. It's restructured to our point in the whole system, in the whole development, in the whole evolution of consciousness, because that's what life is. It's the evolution of consciousness. And throughout that evolution, we have what we call problems, most of which we want to get rid of and be free of, and we want Christian Science to take it away at once. Better yet, the practitioner, get on the phone, call and have it removed at once. Not realizing the beauty, if I may say so, of a problem. Because a problem is so ideal, it is idealized to our very point in that evolution of consciousness. It's the whole idealized, restructured and idealized to that point in the whole evolution of our consciousness. That's what all the world problems are. The world problems are the whole, restructured, idealized to the highest excellence by the divine system, to the evolution, let's see, to that certain point in the whole evolution of the world's consciousness, of the universal consciousness. Now, if we can grasp that, we will not feel so inimical about our problems. We'll not feel, here it comes again, another enemy, something else that I have to deal with, something else that I have to go against. This going againstness, the againstness, feeling that there's something against us and we are against it, and not realizing that that problem is tailored so perfectly that it is that which is going to perturbate the whole system of consciousness, fluctuate consciousness to cause it to go forward, to cause it to evolve, to cause it to progress, to cause it to move more ideally to the goal, to the fulfillment of our salvation or of universal salvation. So a problem is a very, very beautiful thing. And I know, believe me, I know it's difficult to see that. But you know, just to back away from the phenomenon of the problem and to reorient yourself to the system, to the divine system, is such a help, is such a comfort. It's the comforter, because that's the Christ. That's the Christ science within you. It's the Christ that says, come back and look at it from the standpoint of science. Look at it from the standpoint of the 7. Look at it from the standpoint of the 4. Look at it from the standpoint of the multidimensionality of being, that this problem is going on. It is the impact of everything that is above it. All the higher levels or dimensions in that multidimensional reality are all having their impact and bringing out the phenomenon of this problem. How much more ideal could a problem be than that it is being impacted by the 7 and the 4 and the 4 to tailor itself to you, to us. And again, I agree that you don't see that when you're in the middle of it. But you are a scientist. There's something within you that aligns with science. And this is the scientist, and the scientist will take the standpoint of science. To take the standpoint of science is to take the standpoint of the categories of science. Begin to remind yourself where you are in the whole system. What a beautiful place you are, you have within that whole system. How that whole system is working together. There isn't anything against you. There isn't anything that can be against you. Because if we back off far enough to the infinite perspective of the infinite one, we find that nothing is going on but one infinite principle and its infinite idea. That's giving oneself a scientific treatment. And it has its results, it has its outcome. This Christ consciousness has its outcome. It has its solution, brings forth its solution. And it's an ideal solution, and it fits into the whole universe. It won't just be right for you, but too bad about the other guy, and too bad about this and that, and that it costs somebody something. If I make my demonstration. But if I make my demonstration on the basis of the 7 and the 4 and the 4, this blesses all. This is love's success. This is love's fulfillment. This blesses all.